Access Hampton and Harris with Bobbi Roquemore, where the world of sports meets the mic and the hammer of the law.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of Hampton and Harris. I'm Rickey Hampton with my great friend, John Harris. If you are new to this show, John and I are longtime sports writers and authors. Covered a lot of games over the course of our career, and we'll be joined shortly by our great friend, Bobbi Roquemore, an attorney with vast experience in the world of sports. And each week we will be just getting into some of the topics and issues of the day. And as always, a lot of good stuff to get into, JD. We got All-Star Weekend coming up in the NBA. And it ain't what it used to be. We got a whole new format for that. So we'll see how that turns out. We had the Super Bowl last week. Seattle just dominated New England. I think it was 29-7 final score. No, 29-13. They may have scored another touchdown later. Whatever the case, it was never much of a game. And even when that matchup was set up, JD, I thought, oh, okay, if I'm flicking the channel on an NFL Sunday and I see Seattle versus New England, I'm going to probably check, okay, who else is playing? Right?
I may just watch Netflix.
Right. It got to be a better game on than that. But, Seattle did what they had to do. They won the Super Bowl. And hey, congratulations to them. And now the NFL, they'll start, they just jump right back into it. They'll start their combines over in Indianapolis later this week and start evaluating players for the draft that'll come up in April. So it has gotten so the NFL is a around-the-clock business. It used to be some downtime in the NFL. When I covered the league in the 90s, you had about 6 weeks where everything was quiet. But that is really not the case anymore. So, hey, good for me and bad for the guys covering the league. I had some downtime. But Jenny, what's on your mind, man, as we head into All-Star Weekend and the second half of the NBA season? Really gets to rolling. JD, I think you froze up on me, buddy. JD, are you there? Okay, we're having some technical difficulties. Just bear with us and we will try to see what's happening. Okay, we lost JD. Bobby.
Hey, how's it going tonight?
Hey, we having some technical difficulties, but we got you here, darling. How you
All right.
doing?
I'm fine and you. Thank you. Just it's a good day in Cleveland. We
I
got
guess
renewed
so.
hope.
I guess so. Everybody ought to be excited. Uh, and just to our audience out there, we apologize. We've been having some technical difficulties. Hey, just like live TV, you get this in live streaming, and we've had a little bit of that tonight. But I'm pleased to welcome one of our co-hosts, Bobbi Roquemore, longtime sports attorney and regular attorney. How do you describe your practice, Bobbi?
Yeah. Right now, I'm a litigator. So basically, the type of items where you are presenting, advocating for a specific side in a proceeding or against the DOJ because they want more information before a merger, or in workers' compensation, which is where I kind of got my start in as a lawyer, because unlike undergrad, you really don't major in anything in law school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually had met the general counsel of the New Orleans Saints at an event and told her I was going to Loyola New Orleans Law School. And I ended up doing an internship with the Saints, learned about workers' comp. And that's what got me started down the road of workers' compensation. I ended up, thankfully, getting published, winning an award for my writing, as a college student. And I actually did a clerkship with a judge at the Department of Labor Office of Administrative Law Judges in Covington, Louisiana. Thankfully, based on that. So, and then, but just through the years, I've done SBA. I've done a little bit of everything, but
we definitely got to talk. I used to live in New Orleans. I lived in Metairie.
Okay, yeah, I lived in Old Metairie.
I loved it. Oh my goodness, I loved being in New Orleans.
Yeah,
but I may have to hire you to help me litigate with my wife sometimes, man. Get out of some of these honeydew lists that she.
You say some of the what?
I might have to get you to help litigate me out of some of these honeydew lists.
Oh, honeydew. Oh, you see. Okay, I see what you say. I'm like, honeydew. What? I'm thinking, like real litigation. Like what's going on with honeydews? That's where my brain be sometimes.
Hey, she gives me a list this long, and I have this much time to do it.
Negotiation. Negotiation is key.
But yeah, I love living in New Orleans. I was there actually on assignment with the Times-Picayune newspaper.
Okay.
And I don't know if you remember Buddy D, the radio guy back then. This was in the 90s when I was there.
Okay, yeah. And I was so laser focused in law school because it was a second career for me, after being a journalist for so long. So I was there in and out. After 6 months, I never even really visited the quarter unless somebody was visiting me from out of town.
Wow. And we're joined by our other host, John J.D. Harris. Welcome back,
Hey,
J.D.
Don't know what to tell you there, but I'm back.
Hey, man, it's live. Just like, hey, it happens, man. It's good to have you back. We got
good to
Bobbi
be back.
Here.
Hey, Bobbi, how you doing?
Yeah. Bobbi came on all excited. I know why she's excited. Cavaliers have traded for James Harden. I think they won 5 straight.
Yeah.
Have they won 5 straight?
Yeah, and part of that, now granted, he's been a part of 3 of those, I think, at this point, but this tide was starting to turn with the Cavs anyway. Yeah. And I give credit to Kobe Altman, the GM, for making a big move, even within this second apron, this new item that they have as part of the CBA that was kind of designed to stop Golden State from accumulating so much talent and just saying, I'll just pay the luxury tax. But of course, the most Cleveland thing ever is that Cleveland hit the quote second apron first. So just being able to make a move in season and have someone who is interested in taking Darius Garland's contract, which is still a great deal. Don't forget, he's 26, Harden is 36. Darius, they'll fix his toes. Darius will be fine. But so I give credit to the general manager of the Cavaliers for again making a big move. And so the interesting part is, I'm the Cleveland chick. We all know this. And for those who don't know, now you know. So I've been a season ticket holder for the Browns for a long time, but then I decided to go with the Cavaliers on a half a season package. And last year was so fun. We started out like 15, 16 and 0. We had dancing frogs. We had everything. And this year it hasn't been as exciting. And I have one relative who, because I live out of town, also in Houston and Cleveland, he'll get my tickets sometimes. And it was to the point, usually our tickets are a better deal, but it was to the point where tickets, interest was in the Cavs was so low. I told him, you better off buying it on the market.
Wow.
That's how little interest there was in the Cavaliers even 3 weeks ago. This was 3 weeks ago that I told him that. Now, everybody's, the minute Harden came, everybody, you got tickets. Everybody, is back interested in the game. I was able to watch the game yesterday, his debut at Rocket Mortgage Arena, which is one of the Rocket Arena now. They took out the mortgage at Rocket Arena, and it's always electric, but it really was electric. I mean, he made this behind the back pass that was just great. And so anyway, it just seems like he's brought new life to the Cavaliers. The Rocket Mortgage is rocking again. They're selling standard room only again. They weren't. It was quiet. It was a lot of starts and stops. And
how many names does that arena had, Bobby?
That's a good question because we still call it the Gun.
Right, the Gun Arena.
That would be after owner Gordon Gunn.
Right.
When the arena opened in 1994. When they moved from Richfield, Ohio, back to downtown Cleveland. So we call it the Gun. The longest name was the Q, Quicken Loans Arena, and that's when they won the title. When it was the Q, that's when they won the title, I believe. That was 10 years ago almost. So that was the longest name. Then it became Rocket Mortgage, and so I got so used to saying Rocket Mortgage, and now it's Rocket.
and as you guys both know, the Cavaliers owner is here in Detroit, Dan Gilbert.
Yes, yeah, that's right. He's a Michigan guy through and through, real estate. That's how he made his name. And he's been doing great in Cleveland too. Investing in Cleveland too. He's a Midwesterner. Cleveland has a lot of potential, just like, Detroit is revived. Cleveland is revived. They're having a new facility, or they're building a new facility down by the river. The Cavaliers currently practice in Independence, Ohio. It's kind of like on the highway towards Akron, where LeBron is from. But it's just, right outside the city, and they're bringing them back downtown. And so apparently, and don't quote me on this, but I think one of the attractions of having the WNBA team named to Cleveland was that they can practice in Independence now. They'll have their own practice facility. They'll have their own stuff, for when the WNBA returns to Cleveland in 2028. I'm for the Rockets. I mean, for the Rockers. That was the old name, but we'll see. They haven't made a full decision on that, but yeah, I think it was a big gamble with the James Harden trade. Lots of activity, but and another that got a lot of attention. Dennis Schroeder. He's a beast. Yeah, so
he was one of the keys for the Pistons when he came over last year. I think Dennis has been on 10, 11 teams, and he plays well everywhere he goes. Everybody remember him because he turned down about $80 million from the Lakers one year. But when he came here last year, he was key to the Pistons' resurgence because they were able to take the ball out of Cade Cunningham's hand and let him handle it and let Cade play off the ball a little bit. So that gave Cade a little relief. You guys in Cleveland are really like having Schroeder there. And we got this. We're talking about the surging Cavaliers, we may as well jump into our Tendex ratings here. That we have our weekly Tendex.
I wonder if what a difference it is.
Yeah, and let's see if we can get them up here on stage here. Yeah. Now, are they big enough for everybody to see here?
If you could make them.
Yeah, I'm gonna make them a little bigger. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. How about that?
There we go. Yes.
Yeah, we'll start there. We'll start the East, and when we move up, since we're talking about that, man, JD, the Cavaliers have been surging. They're all the way up to the fourth spot in the East at 103.7. They were, what, 2 weeks ago? They wasn't even on the map.
They were farther down. They're on a roll. It's an interesting time of the year with the rankings. Like OKC, they've come down. It seems like things are evening out all over right now with the ratings. It's interesting time. I don't know. I think it's the travel, the road trips, coming up to the All-Star break. It just seems like there's a little bit more balance in the league overall. And you see it with the Cleveland, which I know we talked a few weeks ago about. They were down there, and now they're slowly climbing. And I'm sure the addition of James Harden that rating is going to continue to go up. And they haven't played their best ball yet. And if you're a Cleveland fan, that's got to be exciting.
Yeah. The Pistons have been sitting right there since the the very beginning. And honestly, guys, I was telling JD before we went on the air. Now, I really like this team, but I still can't believe they're that good. But what I know, they play defense like crazy. They play defense in the tradition of the outstanding Pistons team always played physical defense, and they played that. But I see the possibility of Tatum coming back. Mm-hmm. Now you got Harden over in Cleveland.
In the East. Yeah, in the East. Yeah.
The team that scares me the least out of that group is the Knicks. As good as they are, I don't think they're a good matchup for the Pistons because the Asar Thompson just gives Brunson trouble. I mean, that kid's 6'7", 6'8", incredibly athletic and lateral. And so Brunson has a hard time dealing with him. And what I don't like about him also is that he has the ball in his hands so much. Whereas you look at Boston and Cleveland now, they got different kind of ways to beat you. Brunson has to play well for the Knicks to beat you. Anybody, any thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah. Like I said,
go ahead.
Cleveland is a team to watch. They can only get better, right? They've probably played their worst basketball of the year already. They're rising slowly in the rankings, and you just want to keep your eye. And Harden brings that veteran. I know he's the butt of a lot of jokes about his postseason career, but he's a veteran guy, smart. He's what they needed. He's gonna help them move up. If he needs to not shoot as much and be more of a point guard type guy, I can see him doing that. They've got the bigs, so I can see him feeding the bigs inside, hitting the shots when he needs to be. But they already have somebody else that can shoot like that. I think he'll do what he can do. I think he wouldn't have come to Cleveland if he didn't think he could get another extension on his contract, because the Clippers weren't going to give him one. So he's not going to come to another team where he's not going to get that. So he feels like this is maybe his best chance to get a ring. And that being the case, he's going to do whatever he needs to do to try to get to that point. And if it means being more of a distributor, I think that's what he'll do.
Yeah, because he can give you 30, he can give you 15 assists. I mean, he's a hell of a player. And he has that checkered playoff record. But, he's too good not to have a great playoff series.
Yeah.
Cleveland, to me, guys, I think Cleveland has become the most dangerous team. I don't care if Tatum comes back or not.
Right. Yeah, Vegas is already over. They're talking about Cleveland. I mean, like literally as soon as the trade dropped, they were putting Cleveland as the number one team in the East. But regardless of what Vegas says or what Vegas thinks, I mean, it's one of the things I've noticed or just kind of heard about Harden when this all went down is that his skills as a passer are underrated. I mean, we always hear about his scoring. But I saw this pass the other day. I just was like, wow. Like I never really thought about that aspect of his game. And so just being able to, I'm not, granted, Darius Garland did that too, but he was such a spot shooter, jump shooter, etc. But, just bringing that element to where a defender has to make a decision and they, can't necessarily, he's a bigger guy, stocky. So that'll be help, even if his defense is great, just the fact that he's physically bigger will help. Another thing, just speaking of Detroit, obviously I'm, happy for JB. Again, his situation with Cleveland, it was just a matter of time, and I'm glad that Dan Gilbert gave him a chance to become a good coach because it seemed like everywhere it would be starts and stops and starts and stops. But it's, Cleveland gave him the chance to really grow and become a good coach. And so, the defense is what those young players need. And so sometimes on Facebook you get these clips or whatever, and so they had JB asking the referees to move his dad from the seats. And of course I remember Bernie as a child, watching the NBA and stuff like that. And so it's just, I'm so glad Bernie gets to see him doing well and thriving and become one of the league's top coaches, just like he was.
So what Bobby's talking about, it's out there. It's viral out there somewhere. JV's talking to the assistant coaches. I think a ref comes over there too. He says, man, every time I look up in the stands, I see my dad, and he's just looking at me with disgust.
Right.
Like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But he's
still, because apparently he's an advisor for the Pistons as well. Is that correct? Yeah. But it's just so cool, because again, every time I see Bernie, I think of myself as a kid, watching Seattle, so, it's just great to see that.
Another team that I'm keeping my eye on, they're sitting at 99.7 there. Sounds like an FM radio station. But the 76ers, although they got wiped out by the Knicks last night, JD, I still think if the big fellow decides he wants to play, they become a whole different franchise.
Yeah, I mean, it's all come down. I saw he was sitting out the game. That's my only concern is with him is the injuries. I mean, he hasn't been able to avoid it yet throughout his career. If he's okay, if he's good to go, yeah, they can come out. But the
last time I saw him play, his conditioning looked a lot better.
Yeah. Just concerned about the weight. It's just something that's always dogged him. I'm going to be positive and optimistic and say he's going to be okay. And if he's going to be okay, it's going to be very interesting coming down the stretch in the East.
Oh, man, yeah. It is going to be, the NBA playoffs are going to be outstanding. Anybody else in, Miami, they're going to mess around with them. They'll beat you. But I don't think they're a threat. The way they were a couple of years ago. I think Orlando,
they'll take you to 7. Yeah, they'll take you to 7, but it's not going to be in sleep.
Yeah.
No, I'm a little disappointed in Orlando, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too, JD.
I thought they, I don't know if there's injury issues or what have you. I was waiting on them to take the next step, this year, and they haven't done that. And I don't know, the reasons why, but it just hasn't happened. We're at the All-Star break. Things can happen, but they've been very inconsistent. Still a young team, with youth, it's a learning process all the time. I don't know if that's what they're going through this year, but maybe I just had unreasonable expectations for them. But I expect them to be up there where Cleveland and Boston is at this year. And it's not happening, at least not yet.
I got a chance to watch Toronto last night against Detroit. They are a good young team. but I still think they are where I thought the Pistons would be, maybe another year or two away from being serious contenders, uh, because the Pistons just beat them up last night physically. So, but we'll keep an eye on all that. Let's go west, where OKC still sits atop. In fact, you can see some of the top 10 overall. OKC still sits atop at 110.4, and I think their season has been really kind of, you can't say derailed because they're 40-13. I mean, they're 40-13, and people are like, what's wrong with OKC? I mean,
they remind me of the Cavs last year.
Shot
out of the cannon.
Yeah, they got right. They shot out of the cannon.
And it's just like
you all know, and everybody out there knows, it's a long season, and injuries will knock you down. Shea is out for a while. Who else was out? Williams was out.
He got hurt again. He came back and he's hurt his hamstring again. That's got to be a concern for them.
Yeah.
They're getting blown out tonight by Milwaukee. They've had several blowout losses to teams that you wouldn't expect, which has been surprising. They're just learning what happens when you win a championship. That you're going to get other teams' best shot,
right?
And I just don't. And with the injuries, they haven't had that cohesion, right, that you need. I mean, I would say Shea has been the guy. I mean, when he's out there, no matter what, he's giving you that MVP performance. Holmgren, for the most part, has been like that. But they just a lot of different. I watched some of the game tonight. Just a lot of different combinations, and it's going to take time for that. And teams have figured them out a little bit. Especially San Antonio. Their rebounding is a weakness for them. They struggle on the boards, offense and defense. Physical teams bother them. Like if they made it to the finals of Detroit, would cause problems for them because of their physicality. But still, they're still at least the class of the Western Conference according to Tendex.
5 whole points in front of everybody over there. Houston's sitting second at 105.2. Bobby, you see them a lot because you're in Houston a lot. How do you like the way they're looking?
Yeah, like I said, Durant is really, he's thriving over here, and again, great coaching. I'm glad that the coach from, the Rockets coach was, redeeming himself and, doing well after having difficulties. And so they're just kind of rolling along. They know their lane, kind of, with this, we're not going to be OKC, but, just trying to hold steady where they are, just at least in the last couple of weeks. I hadn't really got to see them as much these last couple of weeks, but just from what I've been reading and paying attention to, when I can see them, the excitement is kind of building back up, in the city and stuff like that. And it's just a lot, it's just good to see them. But again, I'm a night owl, so I tend to get late games like the Denver games. And you can never count out the joke. You can't count him out, he's back. And the Cavs did, well. That was probably a signature win, for the Cavs, just beating them the other day in Denver. That's not easy. But at the same time, just seeing that he's back, and so they don't need a 1 seed to, succeed.
Well, I tell you,
Minnesota doesn't need a 1 seed to succeed.
Right.
I'm looking at this early schedule, show you how far Denver's fallen off, especially when Jokic got hurt. They after the first 13 games, they were 111.4. Look at where they are right now. They've dropped a lot. They've dropped 8 points, which is a lot. It just shows you the impact that he's had or that he has on that team. So you're hoping he gets back healthy and is ready for the playoffs, because with him in full strength, with their other guys that they've had a lot of injuries too. And injuries have been huge in the NBA this year. A lot of teams have been, have struggled. And the thing with injuries, when you got to get guys back into the lineup, you got to get chemistry. So I'm looking at the last the last third of the year, last quarter, we'll start to see teams. We're going to really start to see who's who. Is the chemistry kicked in or the injury bugs gone, and see how these teams play down the stretch. Normally, those are the teams that you're going to watch in the playoffs. The teams that are playing well down the stretch are the ones that you're going to watch in the postseason.
How many? I'm going to move to the. Well, let's talk about a couple other teams. Minnesota. We mentioned San Antonio with Wemby. Wemby had 40 points in 26 minutes against the Lakers JV squad the other night. I shouldn't say JV squad, but they were sitting everybody. Those are all NBA players that he lit up out there. They, his presence. I think I heard Williams talk about. They were saying, "But what is it like playing against Wembyana?" He said, "Have you seen him? I mean, he's 7'5". His arms are out here. He's a big man that eats up all kind of space. You just don't see a guy like that." But as you guys know, the thing about it, when you get into a playoff series, when these coaches can lock in on you,
yeah,
right? That's, his size is always going to be a problem, but it won't be as big of a problem against good teams that are going to see him night after night in the playoffs. So I think that is something to keep an eye on. But I think there are 6-7 teams that could maybe win the title. You usually don't have that.
No. I like Minnesota as a sleeper.
Right.
They're explosive. Edwards is taking his game to another level this year. They are now comfortable and confident against OKC. I could see them somehow maybe be the surprise team coming out of the West. I mean, they've been there the last couple of years, right? They've been right on the verge. So I'd keep my eye on them. I just think they can be dangerous in the playoffs, and would not be totally shocked if they somehow made it to the finals.
I see the Lakers have even sneaked into the rankings here, JD.
You just got to get that dig in, don't you?
No, I just.
They're just. When I look at their total number, the totality of their numbers, they don't really dominate any particular area. What they score, they give up. What they pass, they turn over. They counter. So many of the main stats are countered. They're just not a very good defensive team.
Right.
We all know that. You don't need Tendex or anything else to tell you that. You can't be a serious threat in the playoffs if you can't play defense. It's not going to happen. And LeBron is talented as he still is. He can't bring it every night.
Right.
And in the playoffs, you can't take off every other game. Right. You got to bring it. Can he summon it up and do that in the playoffs for a 7-game series?
And your best player got to make an effort to play defense. The Joker not the Joker. Luka just stands.
He just can't play defense. He doesn't want to play it.
He does not want to play it. He don't even try, man. Mm-hmm. And that's your best player. That's a problem. Having that guy as your best player. Let's go to the top 10 here overall. And when I say 7 teams could win it, all these guys are on this list. Mm-hmm. I don't see a team. I don't think Toronto can win it.
Yeah, that might be the only one.
Other than that, that's 9 teams.
Right, and that's just for lack of playoff experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll be around. But, yeah, everybody else there has – San Antonio, they still have the culture. You know what I'm saying? But that's about the only – I don't think they made the playoffs last year. I'm trying to remember.
No.
But
I think Cleveland's the most dangerous team on there now. With everything they already have, with Harden on top of that, and then San Antonio after them for me, because for one, people don't even talk about that point guard who just got named to the All-Star team. De'Aaron Fox to go with Wemby. That's a really, really dangerous team. Also, and we still wondering about Jason Tatum in Boston.
Yeah, even if he comes back, how much is he going to be able to step in? And I think he's playing a G League game this week, or going to play G League.
Practicing with him or something.
Yeah, you're just concerned about him fitting in, coming off the injury. How much is he going to be able to play? How much is it going to change what they're doing? Because obviously what they're doing so far this year has been successful without him. With him coming in, does that mean less for Brown, who's been outstanding? I don't know. It's going to be interesting with him coming back. If he's already playing G League now, before the All-Star break, something tells me he's going to be playing this year. Otherwise, why push it at this point?
Hey, but before I want to touch on some college basketball, but before I do that, I do want to put up one other thing here in regards to the All-Star team.
What are they doing now?
Yeah, we got a new. The final team came out today, and I want to get these guys up here right quick. Let's see. Because we got the 26 All-Star game roster. We got the old heads. Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Curry, who's out. Durant, Ingram replaces somebody. And now De'Aaron Fox and Donovan Mitchell, LeBron and Kawhi. Young Guns, Scotty Barnes, Devin Booker, Kate Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Anthony Edwards, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Johnson, Tyrese Maxey, and the world team, Giannis, Luka, Shay's out, the Joker, Jamal Murray, Sengun, Siakam, Carl
Yeah.
I think the world team, man, I'm putting my money on the world team.
I know, right? I'm like, oh boy.
It could get ugly. I'm sure Edwards is not happy that he's not on the All-Star team. I just knowing him as he is, he's played well enough to be on the All-Star team, not one of these sideshows. To be honest with you, he's having a tremendous season. He really is. So I'm sure he's not happy with that. Ask him; he'll tell you.
Well, maybe he will take it out on somebody.
Dunk on somebody, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, your thoughts on the college season as we move towards March, guys?
It's been some exciting basketball now that you're in conference play and the rivals are playing each other. And the Big Ten, of course, I'm a Midwest homer. Sorry. But I was just so impressed. Of course, everyone. Well, let's just start with the granddaddy of them all. Duke versus Carolina. That was just a fantastic game. They never disappoint. It is what it is. And those who don't know, I guess Carolina had been down the whole game or at least tied, and they had only led for 0.4 seconds. A great pass and corner baseline three to take the lead. Crowd went crazy. That was just a fantastic display of college basketball. And then right after that, there was Illinois versus Michigan State. That was an outstanding game.
Saw that.
The guy, basically, he got fouled with 0 seconds to go, and so he had to make both free. Yeah, Michigan State took the lead with 8 seconds to go. So they're up by 2. Illinois missed a shot, but this guard comes out of nowhere, gets the rebound. He has to make both free throws to get to overtime, and he made them both. On the road. That was just great theater. Arizona lost the other day for the first time. Up until this point, they were calling the NCAA tournament the Arizona Invitational. That's how good they were. But going into Kansas, this This is Big 12. This is Kansas. This is, I know we just have these new conferences Pac-12 ball has always been great. Of course, it's Arizona, Ludolfs, but that atmosphere in Kansas is like no other. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bobby. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, and just finally, Miami of Ohio, the last undefeated team in the United States in Division One. Go Red Hawks, whatever they call themselves nowadays.
In the coaches poll, we'll have to see how Tendex has them ranked. But JD, when you get a chance, I want to check out your Tendex ratings on some of the guys coming out this year that may come out.
Yeah, we need to, going into the conference tournaments, we need to do I'll do a top 25 Tendex teams, and we'll look at, maybe list the top 20, 25 players according to Tendex. I was a little disappointed when I did the ratings a couple of weeks ago. This last year, college players coming out, their ratings were just higher. I don't know what's going on this year, but I'm not seeing the dominant. I know people are really in love with the BYU player and our guy at Kansas, but no one is even close to what Cooper Flagg's rating was last year coming out of Duke. And I'm waiting, I guess, for that player to emerge. We'll probably see it in the tournament or in the conference tournaments. That's where you really see the guys step up and separate themselves from the pack. I couldn't pick a team right now. You got Arizona. You could throw a Houston in there, a Duke. Michigan. There are a bunch of teams that could come up, and there's always going to be a surprise team that can jump up and win the championship.
Houston's one of my favorite teams. I just love Kelvin Sampson as a coach, man. That guy, he gets after it. But I am interested in Darian Peterson, who's just a terrific player when he plays.
Yeah.
I think people are questioning. I was talking to an NBA guy last week, and he was questioning, does he like basketball? That sounds crazy, but some people just have to be very good at something. Doesn't really like to play. Somebody's got to figure that out, because he's going to be a top 3, 4, 5 pick from somebody. And you hope that when he gets to the NBA, he will learn about availability, which, as we know, is the best ability.
Yep.
So we're going there. Hey, you know what?
Watching the Duke game.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, watching the Duke game, when you talk about prospects, I felt so old. Carlos Boozer's son, like playing for the Duke. I'm like, oh my goodness.
we get a lot of that now.
Bobby, I'm a Tendex fiend. I have a crazy theory that if the Cavs had kept everybody, LeBron, Carlos Boozer, Andre Miller, those guys, Carlos Boozer and I know he's a little undersized, Andre Miller, they had great Tendex ratings. I think those guys, if they had stayed together, they could have done some damage. I'll be honest with you. Andre Miller was always one of my favorite players coming out of college.
Love him.
Very good Tendex rating throughout his NBA career. Carlos Boozer, undersized, very good Tendex rating. Yeah. They had good players. They did have good players. And of course, LeBron.
How Tendex rates his son compared to him, Jay.
Oh, wow.
I think his rating is, I think of all the players, the last rating I did, I had him with the highest of the main players. There's always some guy that, that you don't know for a smaller school. Because Kansas State has a guard who's been at 4 different schools, Haggerty, who has a tremendous rating, but he's been like at 5 different schools. But people aren't really paying attention to him, but he's got a tremendous Tendex rating. So there are guys like that maybe play for the not schools outside the top 10, top 20. You don't really know, But of the main guys, the BYU player, very good. But from what I got so far, Boozer had the best rating amongst the named guys. I'll be interesting to see what happens the next time I do the ratings, who's going up, who's going down.
You know, a guy that used to be you transfer 4 or 5 times, red flag goes up. Oh, this guy's a problem. But that's just everybody now.
Yeah.
That's just part. Yeah. I just saw today the quarterback from Mississippi. Trinidad Chambliss sued Bobby and got his 6-year of eligibility. It's on hold. Well, he got to stay, I guess.
I was happy to see that because I didn't think he was going to get it. So, yeah.
And
that must have changed in the last 2 weeks or so.
It just changed today.
Because I thought a couple weeks ago he didn't get it.
He didn't. He went to court and they ruled today that he can play. And then they got to go back to court. But they said by the time they get back to court, the season will be over next year. So he's good to go. But we just got a couple of minutes here. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And we're here every Thursday, Hampton and Harris from Bobbi Roquemore. We want to hear your questions and comments. Please check in with us. We do our Tendex ratings every week. And JD, because we're so new to the Sports Fluent Network, let our viewers know about the Tendex ratings and why it's such an efficient system that we like to rely on.
You know, it's I trust it. I'm trying to get the sporting public to understand it better. And again, it's just, I look at it like this. We all have opinions, right? Who I think is the best team, the best player. So I look at Tendex as an advantage because I'll take my opinion and Tendex over your opinion. And when I debate with people, they get upset because they just tell me they like somebody and they can't tell me why. They just say, I like him. He good. What you talking about? And I say, okay, well, I hear this, but Tendex says that. So they get mad because all they have is their opinion. So I trust Tendex. I've been trusting it for 30 years, really. And it's, I'd say 85% of the time it's accurate. It's not always right, but neither are NBA scouts. Right. They miss all the time on players, you know. So I think it's different in an era now with analytics and numbers. We throw our hat in the ring with Tendex. That's it. We still have our opinions, and you don't always have to agree. I don't always agree with Tendex, but I trust it. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Right. One of the things we say, you know, in our podcast is where the sports meets the mic and the law, and it also meets the math, you know, via Tendex, you know, and I mean, it's a great tool. And I'm so glad you put me onto it because I never really, you know, noticed it. I mean, you know, we always hear about war and, you know, baseball and whatever is going on, PFF and football, you know. And of course, they had that metric about in basketball when you're on the court and when you're not on the court.
Yeah.
But you know, but this is very interesting, and we appreciate you putting this together for us every week. I mean, because it really, you know, provides a unique insight.
Well, the one thing Tendex does on the draft, it's the only system that I could put a list together for the draft, and I can actually do like 1 to 30 or whatever, and you can actually compare guards to forwards to centers. I don't see any other system out there like that. You can do it because each position has its own rating, and then your rating, then you determine how many points above or below the average rating. So I can if a guard has a plus 300 and the center has a plus 200, the guard may be a better player because of his rating, and that's what Tendex allows you to do that maybe other systems don't. I can compare all positions because of Tendex, and that will give us, when we get to the draft, we can really break it down and look at it that way.
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. Hey, what was LeBron in his prime? His rating?
Yeah, he had. I think one of his best ratings was in Miami, and that's the other thing you can tell. You can tell when they're at their best And the ratings also tell you when they started. I think it was one of the years in Miami, he was like a 900, which is incredible. So if you're at 1,000, that means you're like worth a point per minute. And I think one of the years in Miami, he was like 9 something. But then what happens is you'll start to see, even though they're still great, it's like a bell curve. You can start to see, okay, in 900, then 2 years later, you're at 840. You see what I'm saying? Then 5 years later, you're at 750. So you're still good, but it actually, you can chart players' peak. Players maybe have 6 or 7, 8 peak years, and you can show that, okay, this is where they were at their peak. Regardless of what the numbers say later, regardless if they average 20 points a game, then you start to see, okay, the last 6 years, the curve is, the bell curve is going down. So that's one of the things I like about Tendex. It really allows you to follow a player's entire career.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating, man. And we'll have that every week. And we definitely want to hear from you. We want to hear what's on your mind out there. Anything that's going on in your town, in your city, NBA, NFL, whatever. We'd love to hear your comments. We got to get out of here until next Thursday. I want to thank Bobbi and John for checking in. I'm Rick Hampton. Peace, everybody. See you next week. Thanks for tuning in.
See ya.
Bye-bye.